Alright everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and today I am back with another 2023 brand new review. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Lemax Mystery Meat Can & Co. Let's get into it. Okay, so the Mystery Meat Can & Co. Let's dive right in here. It was released, of course, in 2023, and the SKU number off the top is 35008. Now for some dimensions. We have 11.42 inches high, 11.22 inches wide, and 6.30 inches in depth. Product type, Sights and Sounds, and it is made of resin. Now let's talk power. This unit uses a single 4.5 volt DC power supply, and there was no milliamp for the draw listed. As for your switch, it's going to be a standard power volume roll switch, and yes, this one does have a soundtrack. As for the price, it is going for about $114.99 currently, and the weight is roughly 3.5 pounds. Okay, that wraps up all of the facts. Now it's time we take a closer look. Okay, so as we get started here, I just want to note that this piece comes with these birds that are separate from what's actually in the main part of the box itself. You grab that, you throw it on. It's super simple. I didn't even think I needed to show it, but just a note, don't forget to attach your birds. They just slide right on in. Okay, so as for the birds themselves, they are relatively well detailed. It's extremely obvious what they are. I'm sure they're a little sensitive as far as getting knocked around, so be careful about that, but they definitely help take this piece to the next level. Okay, so because there is so much to cover on this piece, I'm just gonna start kind of skipping around for you. So let's start with the main show itself. It is the brain. I have never seen some kind of movement like this in a Lemax piece before. Super creative. The brain is very, very nice, and it even feels kind of like a latex. It's almost kind of creepy when you touch it, and it does feel like it could kind of take a beating, to be honest, but there's definitely some kind of motor or something that's lopsided inside to create that kind of rolling effect, that off-centered rolling effect. It really, at night, is creepy. So, I mean, just really take that one in, because that is a special movement, and I hope that we see more of that in Lemax pieces to come. So working our way down the grinder, there is going to be a little Frankenstein kind of character that's actually doing the grinding. He moves and rotates, and there's even a little like purple light on him, which is kind of cool at night. It helps illuminate him a little bit, but he does have a lot of good motion, and he's moving relatively quickly, all things considered. The grinder itself has, again, a lot of detail. I love the shiny paint job that it has. It's like this, I don't know, it's not metallic. I don't think but it has this like really realistic metal feel to it, and they even added in some of the cracks and stuff like that. There's no question that on this piece the money went into the movement, right? That's kind of what this piece is about. So I'm sure the grinder could have even had more as time went on with the development, but nonetheless, it does have a decent amount of detail. The paint job is fantastic, and there's even a sign on it as well. So they really tried to make this piece really well-rounded, if you will, but again, it's about the movement. It's the show on this piece overall. Next up is the Mystery Meat Can & Co. can, or logo, or whatever you want to call it. It's this beautiful yellow that really sticks out dead center, and it's a great font, great contrast with the rest of the building, and it does connect to the grinder. It's some kind of holding tank or can, I don't know, something like that, but it's cool. It has a nice feel, and I like the flow from the grinder to the can as well, the way it connects with the building, and it sits in the center like that. It's just absolutely very well thought out. Next up is this can that is beneath the birds, but on top of the roof. It says it's to die for, and it looks just like a can. It would have been cool to see, though, the color on that look more like the grinder kind of color, because the gray that they use is a little dull, and the detail on the can isn't crazy cool, but you can tell it's a can nonetheless, but you got to really look at it. Next up, there is a guy in the window, I guess as part of the processing center, because he says processing do not enter. He has something in his hand, but I'm unaware of what it actually is. Nonetheless, he actually has a little bit of detail to him, believe it or not. The face is really cool. He's got like this orangish red coat or something like that on. Even got a little like green in his hair. So they're like I don't know, they're somewhere between zombies and like dead skeletons kind of mixed into one. I don't know, it's just creepy though. It's kind of cool. Anyways, next up is one of the big parts of the show itself. It is this group of characters that are going round and round and round. I'm not sure what their actual job is in the processing plant. It looks like they're moving product of some kind. Again, we don't know what that product is, but all of them got what look like these miniature coffins, but I don't think so. I think this is supposed to be like ice chests or something like that. But nonetheless, the characters are cool. My favorite one is, of course, the wolf. That guy is crazy awesome, and a lot of detail went into that character, and he looks amazing at night, just to kind of top it off. They go round and round and round. It's relatively quiet. The unit overall, at least mine here, was extremely quiet, but now seems to be just relatively quiet. I don't know. But nonetheless, it's nothing that's going to bother you or anything like that, because again, there's so much movement, you got to expect a little bit of noise. So all things considered, it is relatively quiet. Next up, working our way more towards the middle, there is this really awesome like skull of some kind of animal skull with horns. Very cool, very detailed, you know, the color contrast, it was painted well, and it's actually relatively big, you know, all things considered here. It was a nice way to kind of top off the piece, you know, it really dives home with that creepiness kind of factor. Right below him is a refrigerator with a bunch of signs, and even this little filler box on top with like a bunch of like human bones, I think it's supposed to be. But on the fridge itself, it says cold storage, and there's a bunch of other writing. I do want to note something, though, about these style signs, the ones that are on like the refrigerator. Not really the logo, the main logo itself, but all these other signs you're going to be looking at now. The print on them is just kind of okay for me. It's not ultra clear to the point where on some of these houses we're going to see this season, it can be a little hard to read. So not sure what's up with the actual quality of the print there, but nonetheless, it does look cool, and it helped kind of bring the individual pieces that they're on, in this case, a refrigerator, to life. All right, next up is the cans. They are moving, and they go for days and days and days. There's all kinds of cans on this thing, and they all have these question marks on them. They're really hiding what's going on inside of this facility, but clearly they're processing something. The belt is very smooth, and there is a lot of cans on the belt, so you're kind of getting a lot of bang for your buck on the movement, because everything that does move is heavily detailed, and there's a lot going on there. So, you know, the movement is extremely important on this piece, and I do feel that you're getting your money's worth as far as that goes. Okay, continuing to jump around here, I just want to show you some of the stuff that is on the ground itself. We have everything from a pumpkin to another door with some more signs, another pile of like skulls, and I mean, there's literally everything getting mixed in this grinder. I really don't know what's happening here. Let's look at the sides of the building as well. So on one side, you know, there's detail on the building, but there's not too much going on. There's a shipping sign, some nice little woodwork, but not heavily detailed, nothing too crazy, a coffin, you know, that kind of stuff. As we look at the other side, there is a cool little hook there. The hook, it's kind of small, you know, and there's absolutely no room for adjustment on that. Just to be clear, it's stuck in place, like glued in place, but it's a nice little detail, nice little touch. There is a little bit more detail on the wood there on this side, you know, in particular. But really, for the most part, everything you're paying for is happening directly in the front. Lastly, on the back of the building, same kind of thing, pretty plain, a little bit of woodwork, not highly detailed, not too much going on there. This is definitely one of those buildings that you'll really want to see it dead center from the front. You know, some buildings are a little bit more universal than others. I would say on this one, this is going to be probably, you know, maybe even a centerpiece for a lot of folks. You really want to see this one direct. Okay, and to end here, let's just take a quick look at the overall lighting. Not too much going on there. Pretty much all one color with the exception of that Frankenstein style character I talked about earlier that has like that purplish UV color. Other than that, you know, it's pretty basic Lemax lighting on this. There is a little bit of a green hint hidden inside of the building where the people are kind of going round. But nonetheless, you know, overall, this is a show piece. You know, this is something you could use as a centerpiece in your village, or you're trying to add to maybe an industrial feel to your village. This is going to be a score. I do believe that at the $114.99 price point, it's worth it. You know, it'd be nice to get a coupon for it, obviously, but I do believe that this one is going to justify that price point. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hit the lights so you can see this thing in all of its sound and glory. Please keep in mind that this is a recording of the house, so it's not going to be as clear and as good as it will be for you in person, but I will tell you, for the most part, the speaker is relatively decent. Some of the other ones have nice clearer soundtracks than this one does, but usually, you know, you got to consider that these houses are kind of boxed in where the speakers are, so they're not always as crystal clear as some of the other ones, but nonetheless, the soundtrack is there. So I think you will enjoy this one overall. It's definitely a showstopper. So enjoy it. Pick yourself up one. I thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. I hope this helps bring some great information to you. And until next time, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.
I used to sharpen pencils when I was